Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, where we celebrate the beauty and power of America's most iconic cars. Today, we're diving into a showcase of the most breathtaking automobiles ever made in the USA. From timeless classics to modern masterpieces, these are the cars that turn heads and steal hearts. So buckle up, and let's hit the road. I'm thrilled to take you on this journey through automotive excellence. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Let's get started. 1. 1963 Buick Riviera. Initially conceived as model to revive General Motors' luxury LaSalle brand, the LaSalle 2 project would later be the subject of an internecine business case contest between GM's Buick, Oldsmobile, and Pontiac unit. Buick won, but had to engineer the car and develop an interior worthy of the car's classy beauty. It succeeded brilliantly, and we reckon the 6365 Riviera is the most beautiful car America has ever produced. 2. 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. The sometimes troubled life of the first-generation Corvette was left behind with the 63 C2, which cemented the Vette's status as a real sports car. Its inspiration was GM design czar Bill Mitchell's Mako Shark 1 convertible, designer Larry Shinoda, 1930 to 1997, turning this into the elegantly muscled, teardrop-canopied split-window coupe. The convertible's styling was closer to the Mako Shark, but the coupe was the tour de force. 3. 1964 Half Ford Mustang. The first Mustang made its national debut on April 17, 1964. Friday, priced low at under $2,500, $20,700 in today's money, by the Sunday 22,000 had been sold, and dealers were left scrambling for as many copies of this crisply glamorous compact as they could get. The Mustang's long hood, short trunk proportions, the formal cut of its pillarless hardtop, and the perfect application of chrome decor, never mind that the side vents were dummies, made this car hugely desirable. And that was without counting the twin binnacle cockpit, the V8 upgrade, and the myriad options. By the end of 1966, Ford had sold 1.4 million, and the pony car category had been created. The nameplate is so enduringly successful that soon it will be the only car, as opposed to SUV or truck, that Ford still sells in America. 4. 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado. Gargantuan of hood and cubic inches too, the 7.1-liter V8 Toronado was striking not only for its scale and handsome lines, but also for the fact that it was front-wheel drive. The so-called unitized power pack arranged an automatic transmission alongside the V8, driven by a 294-piece Morse chain, this element engineered by one Bob Stempel, 1933 to 2011, later to briefly run GM. The Toronado honored America's last front driver, Cord 810, with its concealed headlights and telephone dial wheels. 5. 2005 Ford GT. Ford's 100th birthday present to itself was also a celebration of the marque's legendary GT40 Le Mans winner and road car. The GT was a sensitively smoothed and updated interpretation that massively improving comfort and convenience. More vitally, it was a brilliant, savagely quick drive. This the result of obsessively detailed engineering and dedicated development. 6. 1948 Cadillac Series 62 Club Coupe. Though bearing a few of the Lightning P-38 fighter plane motifs that would soon massively influence GM's designs under Chief Harley Earl, Cadillac's 49 Club Coupe is well-proportioned, elegant, and classy, so much so that it inspired the Bentley R-Type. Evidence of Earl's Interceptor concept's aviation influences can be seen in the rudder-type styling of the rear fenders, these upkicks barely a hint of the fins to come in the ensuing decade. 7. 1967 Mercury Cougar. Despite sharing none of its fatly curvaceous style, the Cougar was part inspired by Jaguar's Mach X Saloon, that car's lithe, sculpted bodywork producing a similar look for the Mercury, but via entirely different design language. Mercury was thinking of a coupe well before the Mustang arrived, though this car would use the cheaper car's innards, and its windscreen too. A V8, concealed headlights, and sequential indicators were standard. Price keen and sales brisk. 8. 1968 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. The Stingray name appeared on the previous Corvette, but this time the creature itself was part inspiration for the car's spectacular curves, along with the Mako Shark 2 concept from GM design boss Bill Mitchell, 1912 to 1988. The T-top, with its twin removable roof panels, was a production first, as were hidden wipers and fiber optic interior illumination, and the available big block power outputs were massive. 1967 Chevrolet Camaro. The original Camaro was a hastily assembled compromise, disliked by its own designers, their haste triggered by the success of the Mustang. Despite their dissatisfaction, it was and remains one of America's prettiest coupes, was a more than worthy rival to Ford's pony car, and is almost as long-lived. 10. 1953 Chevrolet Corvette. Fired by the impact of its 1953 EX122 Corvette concept, Chevrolet sped its Motorama show car into a glass fiber reality. Initially, just 300 were made, each identically colored, underpowered, under-equipped, overpriced, and, when customers arrived at showrooms unavailable for sale, GM instructing dealers to retain them as demonstrator. Upping production produced few sales until a second 1956 launch propelled the Vette toward a healthy future. 11. 1936 Ford Westchester 810. For a car that fast-forwards to the future, it's hard to beat the Ford 810. Apart from its striking coffin nose face, it was first with hidden headlights, first with concealed body hinges, first with a petrol filler flap, and first with a clamshell hood. It also sat low enough to do without running boards, was front-wheel drive, had a semi-automatic transmission, and later, a supercharger. Launched before development was complete, poor reliability was the death of the 810, and took its maker down with it. 12. 1965 Chevrolet Corvair Monza Spider. Never mind unsafe at any speed, campaigner Ralph Nader's famous critique of car safety finger-pointing at the rear-engined Corvair, the 1965 redesign of every square inch of surface sheet steel and, critically, the rear suspension, produced one of the most graceful, elegant, and capable U.S. coupes of the 60s. The facelift made a good car of the Veer. Ford's Mustang sales phenomenon did for 13. 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air Hardtop. The Bel Air is considered by many to be the icon of its age alongside Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, diners, drive-ins, and dancing to the latest disc. It was a staple sedan of its day, but this was a day when flamboyance was an American automotive staple. A 57 Chevy, delivering just the right mix of indulgence and elegance. Hardtop wasn't the first to flaunt the pillarless look, but it was the first that was commercially successful. 14. 1939 Cadillac Series 39-90 Convertible Coupe. Cadillac launched its first magnificent V16 range perfectly timed for the 1930 Great Depression. First year the best for these vast cars and their elegantly sculpted engine. Undaunted, Cadillac introduced an all-new V16 in 1938, encouraged by what turned out to be a brief economic upturn. Only 175 3990 7-seat sedans and 19 coupe convertibles found homes, production ending in 1940. 15. 2017 Ford GT. A decade after launching the first GT, Ford unveiled a second in 2016 to celebrate 50 years since the GT40 took a 1-2-3 at the Le Mans 24 Hours race. Striking for a cockpit so tapered that it separates from the rear wings, a pair of flying buttresses linking these to the roof, the latest GT is nevertheless a clear descendant of the original GT40. 16. 1972 Chevrolet Camaro Z. The second-generation Camaro was closer to the look its creators wanted for the first, hastily created model. Bigger and more muscular, in later life its clean shape would be debased with impact bumpers and assorted add-ons, but the quarter-front bumpers of the highly desirable 1972 Z28 RS emphasized the unadorned, handsome muscularity of the design. 17. 1968 Dodge Charger. A quintessential 60s muscle car, but one of finesse. From the clean-flanked Coke bottle waist to the sleek, fat-pillared fastback and hidden headlamps, the Richard Sia-designed Charger is a handsome legend. 18th, 1953 Studebaker Starliner Coupe. Not liked in its day, but more highly valued now, the Raymond Loewy studio-designed is one of the more elegant 1950s American cars, but early production troubles stifled the demand fired by its fine proportions and subtle beauty. Chrome and glitz were reluctantly added by Loewy chief designer Bob Burke. Chrome-laden snout of a grille, nevertheless lifting sales. 1957 DeSoto Adventurer Coupe. Sensible shoes. DeSoto suddenly came over all glamorous when it adopted designer Virgil Exner's forward-look styling for its 1956 models. There was more to come with the 57s, however. Coupe's dramatically rising rear fins signaling a 345 cu in V8 that hit the 1-ish p per cu in Grail with its 345 horse-p. The styling was flamboyant, the decor often gold, but this was a well-proportioned, potent machine that sadly would soon be crushed by a recession as America's long post-war boom came to an abrupt end. 2014 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. The C7 generation Corvette is the last front-engine model and will likely be collectible for that reason. For the fact that dynamically it was decisively the best, and because it's simply a great-looking sports car. With the C7, GM battled to shift the Vette's old man image using technology, power, and compact, aggressive styling as its weapons, and it succeeded. 1963 Studebaker Avanti. Briefly manufactured between June 1962 and December 1963 and dubbed America's only 4-passenger high-performance personal car, the Loewy studio-designed Avanti broke 29 records at the Bonneville Salt Flat. Fiberglass body mounted to the chassis of Studebaker's entry-level Lark kept prices down. All versions got V8s and some a supercharger, but none of this was enough to reinvigorate Studebaker sales. The Avanti nevertheless lived on after its maker's demise as a continuation model. 1961 Lincoln Continental. This car is indelibly associated with the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, perished in Dallas in a convertible. Yet there's no denying the handsomeness of this square-cut car, especially as a 4-door hardtop, its sheer flanks lending it an elegance often missing from America's bigger sedans. 1958 Pontiac Bonneville 2-door hardtop. Jet fighters, rockets, and thrusting toward infinity were the obsessions of 1950s U.S. car designers, proof to be seen in taillights, bumpers, rear fenders, endless chrome motifs. There was a king-size pair of such motifs to be found adorning most of each flank of the 58 Bonneville 2-door hardtop. The spearing nose of a rocket, rendered in a pair of chrome strips that coalesced around a sizable chrome rocket motor, behind of which fired a pair of contrails. Between these were pinned 4 chrome stars representing outer space. 1955 Chrysler C300. Chrysler dealers drew big crowds when the company launched its 1955 models. Talented designer Virgil Exner, 1909 to 1973, launching the forward look with a range of models that transformed the Pentastar's lineup from dated and dowdy to futuristic and fabulous in one bold bet. At the pinnacle sat the C300 with a 300 horsepower version of an all-new Hemi V8, this engine to become as legendary as the cars themselves. 1957 Chevrolet Nomad. Another car born out of GM's roving Motorama extravaganzas, the Nomad began life as the 1954's fiberglass Corvette shooting brake concept, with 2 doors, a tailgate, and sexy wraparound glazing. A year later, the same idea appeared on the big-selling Chevrolet Bel Air, looked terrific and even better in '57. Despite regular model year renewals, sales were never great, however, mainly because of the shortfall of doors. 1936 Cadillac V16 Aerodynamic Coupe. Despite the struggle of selling glamorous V16s during the Great Depression, Cadillac persevered for over a decade. The 36 Coupe, among the most elegant of the series. Exclusive and very expensive. Steering wheel logo carved from solid crystal. Anyone? Only 4,076 were constructed, the majority built in its debut year. Not surprisingly, Cadillac later estimated that it lost money on every single V16 sold. 1953 Buick Skylark. Despite looking mildly miserable with its pouting fishmouth grille, the '53 Skylark was fantasy made real. This the production version of Buick's XP300 1952 Motorama Roadshow concept. Roadmaster-based, its cut-down doors, shallower windscreen, and the 6-inch chop forward of the bulkhead lent it a sportier look, as did the cutaway wheel wells and chrome sweep spear romping along its flanks. The length chop was allowed by the compact new V8, placing Buick's age straight 8. The Skylark was pricey. Many famous people bought them, but only 1687 were made. 1930 Cadillac Series 452 V16. Launched at 1930 New York Auto Show, 5 months after the 1929 stock market crash, Cadillac's 185 horsepower V16 was designed to compete with the very best. Strong early sales soon fell away, but Cadillac persisted. The 452 was offered with limousine, 2-seat roadster, and 4-seat cabriolet body styles. And it's the roadster, of which only 10 are said to remain. That's the most stylish. 1934 Auburn Boattail Speedster 8 and 51. As glamorous as any pre-war Alfa Romeo, Hispano Suiza, or Mercedes, Auburn's Straight 8 series reached its lofty design zenith for the 1935 model year. Despite this achievement, Auburn ceased manufacture in 1937. 1946 Packard Super Clipper. In 1946, Packard ended production of airplane engines and military vehicles, picking up where it left off in 1941 with the well-engineered Clipper Straight 8, its ads exhorting America to skipper the Clipper. When launched in 1941, it was the first production car to be wider than it was tall, providing extra room and improved much-needed cornering stability. That's it for today's journey through America's most beautiful cars. We hope you enjoyed this ride as much as we did. If you loved what you saw, make sure to give us a thumbs up and share this video with your fellow car enthusiasts. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to leave a comment below and let us know which car was your favorite. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more amazing car content. Until next time, keep those engines revving and your spirits high. See you on the road.